Welcome to Conscious Living here at the Specially Produce Network. We are so glad you're here to support your lifestyle with the fastest growing resource for conscious families. So sit back, relax, connect, and enjoy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Center for Conscious Kids, our Conscious Living podcast series. I'm here today live in the studio in San Diego at Specially Produce Network, and I'm here with my two favorite friends. They're amazing. I want to introduce Madison Malloy.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
And Sophia Valenti.
Hello, how's it going?
Oh my God, I'm
excited to be here.
so excited you guys are here. It's wonderful.
Happy to be here.
Yes, you are happy, aren't you?
We are. Try to be.
Yep.
We bring in happierdaily.com. It's
that's me.
awesome. I love it. What does that mean, Happier Daily?
So, first of all, it's the brand, but it's more so an idea, I guess you could say.
I love it.
Being happier daily.
Could it be a context, like something we live inside of?
Sure, yeah. I mean,
Wow.
it can mean anything to anyone, but I would say it's more an idea that it's a possibility.
Oh,
Like you
so
c- you
potentials,
can-
possibilities.
Right, yeah. So anybody can be happier daily. That's the idea.
It's a double entendre, pretty much.
A double entendre.
where
Share
it
with
can-
us what that means.
Well, it can be those two things. It can be multiple things where it can be, you are happier daily versus, living happier daily. It's
Ooh.
kind of, you deciding, how to make yourself happy in those ways.
Right, so you're thinking about it, and then that thought turns into action?
Right.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
about being aware and conscious of kind of choosing how to make yourself be happy
Awesome.
every day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how do you facilitate that? Like on your website, how do you facilitate people connecting to being happier daily?
So right now, we have a newsletter, and so we send out just pretty much a daily dose of positivity.
A daily dose of positivity?
That's true.
What does that look like?
So actually, we have this fun little thing. It's called the Happy Button.
The happy
So,
button.
The email how it goes out.
I think we have a happy button somewhere around here.
Oh yeah.
It goes ding ding.
Oh, that's cool. So on the newsletter email, it just says press your happy button, and then you click it, and it goes to what we call a wisdom.
Wow.
So just a little blurb of positivity, or we mainly emphasize timeless wisdom, and that's kind of how we deliver positive messages
That's-
today.
That's beautiful.
However, we are developing way more content. I'm starting to copyright a little bit more and just kind of relay my experiences in my life, try to help people through that. I feel like that's really the only way to do it, to be like super real.
Right.
And so I'm trying to go towards that more than like, oh, I study this, here's a curated article, and have it be really scholarly. I'm trying
Yeah.
to kind of move away from that and
Be
just,
more relatable.
right,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what are some of the ways of relating?
I think it's through experience.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Through, the human experience.
Right.
Because, it is good to be happy, but at the same time, we have this full spectrum of human emotion that we can experience.
Right.
So, yes, it's good to be happier daily, but it's good to have different experiences and feel that whole, range of emotion, the complex nuances of what it is to be human. And it's an experience that we all share.
Right.
So
Yeah.
within that, we're relatable.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of, I was on this total binge of watching Jordan Peterson.
Uh-huh.
Do you know of him?
No.
So I don't want to butcher his whole thing, but he is, I believe, a psychology professor. Is that right? He's so much more than that.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of his ideas, his amazing ideas, is that life isn't even about happiness, which totally threw me off because I'm like, okay, well, that's my life work, and I kind of agree with him. So there's a huge conflict here.
Just
But
recently, after creating Happier Daily, you come across this, and it's like, wow, I actually agree with this concept that goes against
totally conflicting.
everything
Yeah.
I've completely created.
And how
so
did you resolve that?
well, his idea first was, and I hope I don't butcher this again, but it's something along the lines of that life is not about happiness, but more so competency
Mm-hmm.
and being able to get through adversity and stress and learn how to deal with chaos. And that's much more valuable than happiness, which I was like, whoa, that
How
is
do you think
super
we
true.
get to happiness?
What was that?
How do you think we get to happiness?
Okay, so that is different for everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
However, I feel that, we should never undermine the power of positivity.
Right.
Like for me, Happier Daily was actually, I didn't start it myself. Like I was lucky to be in a family where we're very techie, and my dad has a new business idea like every morning, and sometimes he's brave enough to run with it. So he's like, hey, how do you feel about starting this website? And I'm like, I'm 15 and I don't have a job. Okay, let's do it. So
Yeah, I
since
wanted to share
then-
with everyone, like, you all are young adults
Mhm.
and very young adults, quite honestly. And I think it's amazing. And that's why I wanted you all to really share, because I think whatever you find in your passion and your happiness, please, everyone, express it now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Don't wait. You don't have to be a certain age, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to be, 18 or 21 or 30 or 40 or whatever. You don't have to be any of these ages
Yeah.
to really truly express yourself.
Well, it
Mhm.
also comes back to being conscious of what you're doing to be happier. Like for
Right.
me, ways that I try to be, hold myself accountable. I try to start every day like it's a fresh start. It's a
It
new
is.
beginning.
Fresh
know?
and new in
It
each
is,
moment.
yeah. And same with, doing things like not dwelling on the past or holding grudges. More
Right.
so, kind of letting that go and creating opportunities for yourself.
Right.
Holding yourself accountable, because then you can take pride in the work you do.
Right. And,
Mhm.
and when you hold yourself accountable or create that self-responsibility, doesn't that then start to generate all of your abilities to work through your conflicts?
Right.
Definitely.
And your
Yeah.
difficulties. And when you reach that point where you have moved through or resolved those difficulties, doesn't that naturally and organically bring in happiness?
It just manifests
Oh, yeah.
itself.
because that's
Totally.
our true nature.
Right.
That's
Mhm.
who we really are.
Yeah. Madison brought up a good point. It makes you feel like proud of yourself
Mm-hmm.
and kind of gives you the confidence to go for more difficult things, or just even if there's something hard, you can say, okay, well, I've been through this. I can probably get through this too.
Absolutely. It gives you that confidence
Mm-hmm.
from that prior competence that you were
Yes,
talking
exactly. Yep.
about. Yes.
Yeah. And it's also about just living and being fully present, being aware and,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
rather than being passive.
I had this experience. I just got back from Hawaii, and I'm always thinking about happiness. My brain is on like 24/7 about this stuff. But I was in Hawaii, and I was on this super amazing hike, and I don't know, it just wasn't hitting me or something. And I was like, what the heck? I should be stoked out of my mind right now.
Right.
Like, this is so amazing. When am I ever going to be 19 again? When am I ever going to have this amount of health? This is like the oldest I've ever been and the youngest I'll ever be. And
Will you say that again? Because that's a really beautiful statement
like
of
that
being
one.
present.
this is I always get them confused. It's the oldest I've ever been and the youngest I'll ever be.
Right.
I love it.
But I wasn't feeling it.
Just read that in.
So I wasn't feeling it, and I recognized that. So I was thinking, okay, why is that? And I realized it was because I was totally thinking about work, and it was distracting me from all the trees and stuff, and I wasn't able to take it in and
So in the
experience
moment
it.
on your hike, you were present on the hike like you were walking in it,
Mm-hmm.
but your mind and your heart really wasn't there.
Right.
You were
Right.
you were thinking about work and other
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
So that's a big part of being conscious,
Yes.
because what it means to be human is to be a lucid, conscious being. But that doesn't wholly mean that you're conscious in your thoughts and your actions and what you're doing.
Mhm.
So you have to kind of realize sometimes you take that consciousness, that self-awareness, and you put it on the back burner,
right.
and you let these other influences, these outside things, kind of control your thoughts, like work,
Yeah.
Right.
school. And in the moment, as we are right now, we're very conscious. We're present because we know we have an audience. We know people are listening. So we're holding ourselves accountable. We're presenting ourselves in a very conscious manner. Whereas if we're home alone, we don't act like this,
Right.
We're not usually conscious.
That's true.
Yeah. But imagine if you could live every moment being this aware, presenting your best self, putting your best foot forward, and being fully conscious and
Right.
aware.
Yeah.
That's what you would want to strive to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like what we were talking about earlier, like happiness organically manifests when you do put out your fullest potential.
Yes, you do.
Right.
So
It really is, and you all both are very deliberate and volitional. I call volition is like intention in motion, or intention in an action. And you're very purposeful in putting out ideas and context and support for people to regain, right? Remember, awaken to that opportunity of that your organic self, which is that happiness inside,
right.
right?
Well, and we find many people being complacent,
Yeah.
and that's
I hate that.
Yeah, you want to
Well, maybe many people are seeking out the easy button,
right.
but it's not inside the context of love or happiness. It's really in the context of stress and
Right.
overwhelm
Mm-hmm.
and the past hurting the present and the worrying about the future not being the way you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so that pushes away that natural organic happiness, right? And so then everybody's like, "Wait, I want happiness back again." And so they try to press that easy button.
Well, we need the happy button.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's an idea that I think we should all remember, and that's happy people do hard things. It's kind of ironic.
Can you
but
say that again? Because I like that one too.
happy people do hard things.
They can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know?
Yeah. Comes back to that, like
Being
proud
committed.
of yourself. Yeah.
Right. Being committed, being responsible, being present.
Aristotle said happiness is in ourselves. And it really is, because I feel like a lot of people define happiness by what others perceive it to be and not what they perceive it to be.
Exactly.
And if you hold yourself to other people's standards, where are you going to find your happiness?
Exactly.
So it's really about kind of digging deep,
Right, it's really cute. I support a lot of kids and families to help parents help their children notice that the happiness is not inside the cookie, even though a cookie tastes amazing, right? Or the happiness is not in those Lego blocks or
Right.
those toys they want to play with. That their happiness, they get to utilize these concepts and these things inside of our life to create that happiness. And or what I really say is we really create the happiness inside of us. We utilize them or taste these things, and that adds like icing on the cake. That like
Yeah.
can inflate the happiness and grow it.
Well, it's also not about indulging.
Yes.
Happiness isn't always about feeling good. Sometimes it's a sense of being content with yourself, and you
Yes.
don't even realize you're happy until later on. Maybe when you're going through a harder struggle, you can reflect back on that time and be like, oh, wow, I was so content, I didn't even have the time to realize I was happy, And
Right.
it's those moments that are really, truly pure. They're very wholesome.
Right. Very beautiful point.
Yeah, so
That we can be really satiated or content,
Right.
right, in the moment and not have to have something else to create us being happy.
Right.
Yeah. I really like what you said about the Legos, because I'm a really firm believer in that happiness comes from within,
Yes.
and that even if something good happens to you, like how I was in Hawaii and not even really realizing it, it's like you have to bring yourself back into the moment, because honestly, that's all there really is anyway.
That's correct.
And if your brain is elsewhere, then you miss out on your own life right in front of you.
Right.
My dad had a really good way he put this. He was talking about like meditation and how he meditates. I don't really have much experience meditating, but I really like how he put it, because it really made it really relatable and practical. But he said how, your brain is basically a tool, and if it's in the future, it's only thinking about anxiety, and if it's in the past, it's all regret. And it's kind of like the whole idea that idle mind is the devil's playground. Is that how it goes?
Or idle,
So-
idle hands, I believe, but it's the same idea.
Yeah. So he said your mind should really only be used as a tool to work on problems, basically. So you can't be in the future or in the past, but if you have something that you're working on, that's what your brain should be like focused on. It's a tool.
Right.
And
To support processing,
right.
to support problem solving, to support interacting, developing language.
But also just to absorb life as it is right now.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
And that's part of deeper conscious thought.
Yes.
And going back to being aware, it's being, I mean, some people like to call it overthinking. I don't see it that way. I see it as really diving deep into yourself and like you were saying, using, your mind to its fullest potential to really unlock new pathways, new perspectives, new lenses that maybe you haven't considered before. So I think it's a really beautiful thing to really meditate on an idea and come out with a whole new perspective on it.
Absolutely. And it really does. And then it changes your perception of how you bring in data and information in your world to really then process that and bring that out into actions and the ways of being that you're choosing to be.
Yeah. About that, an idea that I think is kind of practical for kids and families, because I've seen it in my own house, but on how we perceive information. In my experience in my family, my dad is kind of tough on us, but it's out of love, and I know that I realize that, but some other people in my family kind of don't realize that. So
Everybody arrives at their time.
yeah, so he'll say something to me, and it's usually like constructive criticism, but a lot of the times he just comes off like a jerk.
It can happen.
But
Y'all can be funny sometimes.
Yeah, I've had to learn to kind of listen first and then process after. And so I don't get all worked up about it, because I could easily get offended and miss the whole point. And so I think it's a really beautiful thing if we learn to kind of hear people for what they mean, I guess.
What they're saying, kind of versus how they're saying it, maybe.
Yeah, because the truth is, it's like my dad, obviously, he loves me, and he's trying to make me the best person that I can be and live my potential. He's not trying to be mean to me. But I feel like so many kids, like, and my family members included, they see it as like, oh, he's just being mean again or something like that.
Right.
But it's like the truth is, it's all out of love, and it's constructive.
Right.
So,
Right.
we got to hear that, actually, so we don't get all fed up about it.
Right. Well, and sometimes even in those moments that we feel a little triggered by what someone's saying, or the tone they're using,
Yeah.
or their body language, or their tempo, right? They're trying to hurry up or something. Sometimes when that happens, what we can do is support that and really breathe in and dig deep into our hearts, right? And find that happiness, even when we're being triggered. And how would we like to view it, like you had talked about, Madison, about the perception or the viewpoint? How would you like to see this triggering event through your innate happiness?
Well, it's also, I feel, if you go into any situation with a mindset that you can take something out of it,
Yes.
it kind of reworks the way you hear people talk and
It
speak.
sure does.
So
Yeah.
if you go into things with an open mind, you'd be surprised what you get out of it personally. And I try to do that in every situation.
It's beautiful. It totally reframes the conversation and the situation. It's pretty amazing.
It's not an easy thing to do, though.
No,
We're
it's
stuck in
not.
our ways.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, it's hard to, especially if the delivery isn't what you want.
Right.
Sometimes it's hard to be receptive to things, but it's
Yeah, that's a
always
good
good to reflect.
Yeah.
And think about what people said and what they mean, and then what you can take away from it. So
Yeah. I
Absolutely.
often have to translate the delivery to, okay, this is what he really means. This is his
Right.
intention behind it. It was
Right.
good.
out of
But yeah, it
love.
came off like edgy or something.
Right. Well, and that's
Yeah.
so beautiful because we get to support everyone, parents and children alike, on how to reframe. I mean, even
Mhm.
it can go the other way, right? The child could get
That's
kind of
true.
wild
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and out of control, and it could trigger the parent, and then the parent's
Yep.
like, "What's going on?" You know, and that
You just need a nap.
I saw this beautiful post. This mother picked her toddler up from kindergarten, and she was just having a bad day, and she was just grumpy and not her usual self. And the mother realized, like, she's a little human. Some days are harder than others, just like it is for me. So
Little
she
human.
she gave her a little bath and gave her a juice box and put a little face mask on her and let her read books and just gave her a little spa day because that's what she would want to do, and
Right.
and gave her daughter that same kind of respect.
yeah.
And she was so refreshed afterwards, and just it's one of those things where it can be flipped.
Mhm.
Caregivers and children alike.
Exactly.
We're kind of on similar levels.
Yes, us supporting one another.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that
like that.
interdependent relationship.
Yes,
So it goes both ways, definitely.
it sure
Yeah,
does.
I
And
like that.
so on your happierdaily.com, what do people experience when they visit your website?
That's a good question because so I've been working on this thing for like 4 years, and it started when I was like 15. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I just honestly I needed a job.
Well, you're
But-
doing great.
Thank you. So as I've been studying this stuff, I surrounded myself in positivity, and honestly, that is what got me through some of my own conflicts and stuff. But this website is honestly evolving so fast. It's hard to even say what it is right now.
It's so beautiful.
So right now, it is just a newsletter, and we have
it's
a
amazing.
couple hundred articles, I think, on the site.
Yeah.
But it's what I'd like it to be.
But you support over 100,000 people.
Yeah, I have.
That's amazing.
I think I've had over 500,000 people on my list at one point. Just like, what's it called? Collectively, or
Yeah.
I forget the word.
So you're
Um,
doing something. You're helping them connect to their happiness, their
Yeah.
innate happiness every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a little boost of motivation. It's just a little reminder, It's like to remind yourself, like, it's good to take this motivation, this little wisdom, and run with it. Let it impact you in a good way.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And you're on social media as well. And I know on Instagram you
Working
have
on
many
it.
words of wisdom there. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
And I invite everyone who's listening to this podcast, either live or pre recorded, to please visit happierdaily.com
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
visit Sophia and give everyone a shout out about this website. It's
Thank
so
you.
beautiful, and the opportunity to really enjoy and really, dig deep inside and find that happiness
Mhm.
naturally and effortlessly.
Yeah.
Thank you both for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you, everyone. Have a happier day. Thank you all for listening to this podcast. We are so grateful for you tuning in and experiencing the innovations and opportunities we all can incorporate into our daily lives. Connect with us at centerforconsciouskids.com to sign up for the latest news that showcases these revolutionary services and products. Our global website provides families with an online conduit for enrichment and transformation in all our lives. Please share with other kids and families who would enjoy these advancements in living consciously. I'm Ashley Lee, and I thank you so much for joining us.